Yeah. My man. Let me see. Can everybody hear me? Is the mic okay? Okay, because I've followed him a few times, and it's not easy, man. It's not easy. Who I haven't met? I'm Gene. Steven. Matt. Eric, how are you, man? I haven't met my brothers yet. I have 4 brothers. I usually meet at least 4 brothers. One time, we were at convention, and I met John, Chris, Mark. Those are 3 of my brothers. And I said, okay, where's Rick? And Rick Jiha was right behind me. Rick Jiha said, you met all 4 brothers. So I have 4 brothers. Here's the exciting news. How many people have seen the video of me? Raise your hand. That I did back, whenever it was, right? It's like over a year ago. So a lot of you have seen my story or heard my story. I'd like to tell it again if I could in a little different way. Maybe change it up a little bit because my wife Susan's getting a massage right now. And I know we talk about our wives a lot in this, but I have 5 kids and 5 grandkids. And just so you know, I do not know my kids' names. Do you guys? Once you have grandkids, your kids just go out of your life. I'm not even sure of my kids' names. So we're very big into our family, right? And I've been in the business for 35 years. And Jay and I kind of text back and forth because we have some of the same values. And we talk about it because why do you do stuff? Right? Why? Why are you guys here? Impact. Change people's lives. There you go. There you go. If you guys have that passion in your life to change people's lives, you're going to understand what I'm going to tell you, okay? 4 years ago this month, I love it when 4 years ago this month in November, I got a call from 2 of my agents. Now, let this sink in because it's going to be attraction. 2 of my agents called me and said, hey, you're retired? I said, yeah. I just retired. I'd been retired 6 months as a team leader. I was Keller Williams 21 years. They said, could you check out this new model? Oh, did he kind of go over that? I said, could you check out this new model? Glenn Sanford flew into Austin, Texas. Didn't know who Glenn was. Spent 2.5 days with me. Now, I'm telling you this story because I'm going to tell it a little bit different because it's real. When I first met Glenn, I don't know about you guys, but I hit people with 2x4s. We had dinner the first night, and I said, Glenn, sounds like a great model. I want to buy Texas. You know what he said? Can't sell it to you. I said, what do you mean you can't sell it to me? He goes, it's not for sale. There's no franchises. I went, dude, I am going to like you because I own 6 of them. How many people in here have owned a franchise or an office? These are the poor people. Let's make sure they all get together and we buy them a drink tonight. Because owning franchises and offices, the other people are real estate agents. You guys think we've just made all the money, didn't you? I owned 6 of them. 3 of them were making good money, 3 of them weren't. And I owned a thing called a region. There were 32 regional owners. Now, when he said that to me, it piqued my interest. I've never told this story. I think I told you guys this story one time. When my wife had a birthday, we went to Tahoe, and I wrote a business model 5 years ago to start a new company nationally. I've not told this a lot. But if you guys are entrepreneurs, you get on plane rides, and I went, boom. And I showed it 5 years ago to a regional director from Keller Williams, the top team leader, and a top agent on our vacation. And I asked my wife, can I share this? And I shared it with them on pieces of paper. You guys forget the type stuff. You just write stuff out. Here, if I started a company and I did this, Kev, would you join it? And every single one of them looked at me and said, I'll move tomorrow. I still have that piece of paper. When Glenn left my home 4 years ago, I got the piece of paper out. I went, the son of a gun started my company. Agent ownership. Revenue share. No bricks and mortar. You know what? I don't have an ego. So I said, Susan, this dude started it. Put your egos aside. You don't have to start another company. It's been started by Glenn Sanford. Every day I tell people he's the biggest genius I've ever met. I had the model before he did. But guess what? He took action. It takes a lot to start a company, right? I haven't told that because that really doesn't resonate with people. What do you mean, you thought it before him? What an ego. I said, no. I've met other people at our convention that said, Gene, I thought of the same thing. Here's the key. Whatever company you've been with all your career, just like Brent said, how many of you own stock in that company before you came here? Nobody raises their hands. Okay? And I told Glenn, guess what the stock price was 4 years ago, guys? Anybody? You can look it up. $3, I hear. What was the stock price 4 years ago? To this day?
24 cents.
12 cents. Write it down. Write it down. You guys got to remember this crap. I'm giving you good stuff. 4 years ago, it was 12 cents, Tony. 12 cents. Okay, 4 years ago, I meet this dude. He says, I started a company. I said, what's the share price? He goes, 12 cents. I'm thinking, here, I got some. Here. Buy me. I really did. I almost took money out and said, here's 100. But I knew he changed the industry. I'm one of the ones that knew it. I said, if we give ownership to every agent in the industry, boom, mic drop. Boom. And I think Glenn knew it. He just didn't have the salesman to do it. Does that make sense? He didn't have Jay yet. He didn't have Al, Mike. He didn't have Brent. So what I'm telling you, read the book Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. Have you ever read that? Malcolm Gladwell writes great books because they're always, the tipping point, outliers. And when he wrote Blink, I tell people in that book, it's women's intuition, right? All us guys are looking in the room going, what's women's intuition? We don't have it. But if you've done something for a long enough time and you see something, you don't know why, but it's a gut. And I went, this company's going to make it. Somebody asked me the other day, I think it was just the other night, might have been with you, Al. They said, did you ever think this wasn't going to work?
That's what I asked.
Did you ask that?
Well, I was going to ask you if the panel go ahead and blow it.
Okay. But you asked me if I ever thought it wasn't going to work. I said, well, no. I had the blink. I didn't know how long it was going to be. I didn't know how long it was going to be until I was in a room like this with people, but I knew it was going to work. Why? I love real estate agents. I love them more than anybody in this room. I think we're the craziest, stupid people on earth. We wake up every day and we have no income. You can't wait to tell your spousal unit, guess what? I'm going to take a job with no income. Right? I remember those days. I was an accountant before this. Anybody was an accountant? Anybody? 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 Okay. Hey, yeah, baby. We're accountants, right? There's no bean counters in the business. We're steady. I was a banker before that. I analyze. I don't take risk. Then I got into real estate. And I went, man, this is where Lord should put me on the earth to do. Really did. I mean, within 2 years, I was number one in my company, 600 agents. Within 3 years, I was top 20 in the state at RE/MAX. I don't know why, but I like selling homes because I like people. I know people think this. I could have done good on HGTV. Now you guys are on it. That would have been good. So anyway, you guys know my story. So 5 months go by. We analyzed it. And I come back to Susan. I said, honey, guess what? And she goes, what? We're retired. I've got more money coming in than I ever thought I would in my life, ever. That number that you guys write down and go, if I had that much coming in passively, I would just quit. My number was 300,000. Really about 30 a month. I don't know about you guys, but 30 a month, I think I can live on that. Right? We were way past that. Way past that. I had achieved everything I wanted in life, and I was the exact same age as Colonel Sanders was when he started Kentucky Fried Chicken. Look it up. So I turned to Susan, I said, I still got life in me. Does that make sense? Because a lot of people get to a certain stage in their life and they're going, well, I'm done. Not Gino. So I come back to Susan, I said, honey, guess what? If you knew Netflix existed, would you own a Blockbuster? And she goes, no. And I said, well, we own 6 of them. I just found Netflix. It's a true story. She goes, and the look on Susan's face was not good. Because she wasn't in yet, right? She was like, oh, geez, I know you. What does this mean? I said, we got to sell them all. and the region. And the region was worth more money than all 6 offices together. Sold them all. Boom. Came to a company with 400 agents. Ow! So what's exciting about this, how many people do we have in the room? How many? 50? 60? 60. When they announced me in April of 2015, there were 37 people in the room. That was our stockholders meeting. There were 37 people in the room. And I'll tell you right now at the start of my thing, Andrew, the same thing I told them. They said, well, Gene, we want to announce you. I said, why? What? I didn't even know why they didn't. They said, well, I guess they never had anybody that sold all that junk. I said, no, we want you to get up and talk. So, okay, what do you want me to say? They said, be Gene. So I got up and told my story just like I did to you, and then I said, just hold hands. Look at the person next to you. I want you to do it right now. Look at the person next to you. Who's sitting next to you, Nate? Look at him. Joel, look who's next to you. Let it resonate. You've been here for a day already. Because I got news for you. You're never going to forget that face again, and we're never, ever, ever going to be that small again. That's what I told them 3.5 years ago. And they looked at me like I was crazy. Even the eXp people said I was crazy. But I had the blink. I had the blink. I had the blink. Right? It just happens once in your life, man. Brent Gove, blink. Boom. Our company changed when Brent Gove came 2 years ago. I came into the board of directors meeting. I'm on the board. I'll tell you this is real. As I walked into the board of directors meeting, the company 2 years ago had 1,400 agents. 1,400. And I walked into the board meeting and they go, what happened? I said, Brent Gove joined. And they go, what's that? I said, our company changed forever. Because I knew what Brent could do. Or I thought I did. Last year, same thing. Went into the board meeting, boom. What's going on? I said, my big smile on Gene's face because we are at to 4,000 agents. Kinder Reese. You guys don't know that. That's what I said. I was pumped. I know when our company changes. I said, so I go, boom. I'm just the one that got it started. I just got it rolling, right? So what the cool thing is, somebody told me, I think it was Al the other night, it really went home with me because it feels good to me. He says, Gene, you've affected so many people's lives by making that one decision in the beginning, right? And I want to thank you guys. I want to give my blessings to you, is that everybody in this room can affect so many people's lives. Isn't that a good feeling? I don't know about you, but that's good to me. There's so many trainers I've been through all the trainers, and they teach you how to sell homes. You know what I'm going to do in the next 45 minutes? Teach you how to attract agents. You ready to sharpen the pencil? Because you know what? I'm the best at it. And when I say I'm the best, I only tell you that because I want you to listen intensely. I don't want you to get on your stupid thing and start checking your texts. Put them down for 45 minutes in your life and I'll change your life forever. Because I got news for you. I was the #1 recruiter at KW 6 out of my last 9 years. 6 out of my last 9 years, I was #1. I never thought about even bragging about myself, except when I get up here and start talking to you about attraction. Attracting agents is different than selling homes. Okay, write it down. You can't use the same techniques. Get used to it. Okay. I've got $10.
Sorry, I'm trying to record it.
Come on, baby. You better record it. You better record it. I have no problem recording me because someday you'll be replaying it back to my grandkids and saying, here's what your grandpa said. I'm blessed if you do that. I would be blessed if you recorded me. And then 10 years from now, when I'm gone, because I will be gone someday, and you'll go, you know, your grandpa changed our lives. That would be cool for me. So here's what I got, $10. I'm a big basketball nut. Yeah, I'm probably the oldest guy in the room. I can check around it. But I grew up in the UCLA era. So who's the #1 coach of all time that they voted in 2000? John Wooden. So John Wooden coached the UCLA basketball teams. I grew up in that era. And they only won 10 out of 12 years. 7 in a row. 7 in a row, 10 out of 12 years. Just so you know, it'll never be done again, right? Just not will be. John Wooden, if you read his books, he had a key to success. Now, If you've read his book and you know it, don't shout it out because I want people that haven't read the book. But I did have 100, but it's down to 10. Bobby, I'm sorry. So we got $10 that somebody can tell me what the secret of success is. See, here's the thing. You guys, and I know we've talked about it before, so Michael, don't say it. But I know a lot of people, what is the secret to success? It's amazing. This guy won so many championships. He was the best coach of all time, and he says in his first book, Leadership, you got to get the book. It says the key to success in like the first paragraph, and I go, well, wow, if that's the key to success, why do I have to read the whole book? What's the key to success? Throw it out, anybody. Fundamentals. What else? A lot of little things done well. Mindset. Consistency. Focus. Creative freedom. Haven't said it yet. Creating leaders, that's a good one. Desire, that's a good one. Basics, discipline, haven't said it yet. Hard work, practice. Getting close? What? Teamwork. What's that? Culture. You haven't said it yet. I'm surprised. Come on, dudes. Aren't we with top producers here? Are we not with top producers? What's the secret to success?
Having freedom?
Somebody's going to say it. No. Execution, no. No. Nope. Nope. That's Zig. That's Zig Ziglar, right? Which I love. Okay, you want me to tell you? Are you stumped? Are you worn out? I get to keep the $10? Okay. Nope, come on. No. What's the secret to success? You've been to Tony Jerry. Who's been to Tony Jerry? What's the end result? What is it? No. What's the circle? What's the end of the circle? No. You guys went to Tony Jerry all this time and didn't read his book, did you? Okay, here it is. Here's the thing. Seriously, Tony Jerry, it's Tony Jerry's too. It's creating, write it down. We'll do it together. Creating great habits. Nobody said habits. Oh, the whole time I was listening, I tried to. So in other words, the key to success in life, in anything, in your health, in your religion, in your anything, in your spouses, in your, I'm like Brent. I tell Susan every single day how much I love her. I'm not blowing this gig. I got news for you. You take a day off from loving your wife, you a dumb person, as far as I'm concerned. You better tell her every single day how much you love her, and your kids too. All your kids, right? And I look back on it and I go, man, I love when Michael Reese told me the other day what he tells his son. I mean, I got to get another hug after the first hug, right? That's more important than selling another home, right? But creating great habits. John Wooden said it's about creating great habits. When they took him off in the 12th championship in the mid-'70s, they literally carried him off. He told the team before that game, he didn't tell anybody but the team. He said, this is my last game. I'm retiring. Nobody knew. Do you think they were going to lose that last game? I mean, they killed the team, right? I mean, they were the only ones that knew John Wooden was retiring. They carry him off, and then he lives to be almost 100. He retired at 65 years old. He lives to be 100, and they keep saying, what was the key to your success? Nobody's done that. He goes, well, I just teach kids how to have great habits. It's the key to life. Eat the right stuff, exercise the right way, but it's a habit, right? Now, here's the thing. You guys have a habit of selling homes, right? You guys are much better at it than I ever was. I only sold 120 homes a year 3 years in a row as an individual agent. That's nothing compared to what people do now. And I look at the teams now and they go, we didn't have teams in the 80s and 90s. There were no teams. If anybody sold in the 80s and 90s, there was no such thing as teams. We didn't have buyer's agents, right? So, but I had good habits when I sold 120 homes a year. I was raising 5 kids, and guess what? I never missed a soccer game. I never missed a choir. I never missed anything, ever. People go, there's no way you could have done it. I said, I did it. My kids, I told them I was going to go play realtor. I never told them I was going to work. I told them I was going to go play realtor. My one son thought I was a banker because the RE/MAX was in the bank building. I said, for a long time, I thought you were a banker. Because I'd go pick up my checks in the RE/MAX. But I want you guys to think about is what kind of habits do you have right now? Assess them. What kind of habits do you have? Are they great habits? Are they okay habits? Are they bad habits? I was sucking down chocolate the other night at dinner, you know. My wife's looking at me and I'm going, man, it was a bad habit. I got to cut that out, man. It's not good, right? Okay. So I only tell you that I've attracted, here's another thing. You guys, I saved $10. Okay. So somebody's going to tell me, not the guys that know me, what this is. Year 1, 15, year 2, 7, year 3, 11. What are those numbers? And I'll give you $10. My front line, there you go. So in other words, what happened, year 1, I recruited 15 agents in a year. Year 2, it went down. I got worse because I was helping everybody else do what? Duplicate. So now I had 22. In the 3rd year, I recruited. So at the end of 3 years, I recruited 33 agents. That's it. And I have 6,000 people in my 7 tiers. Does that help you guys? Oh, I owe you $10, don't I? Man. Yeah, I perform. I pay my golf debts. So, but here's what I want you to understand. You guys think it's just brain surgery to go attract agents. It's not. It's a habit. Right? It's just a habit. Here's why I told Glenn that he changed the industry. We let, for the first time in the industry, the agents, us, into the ownership game. It's awesome. That's what they don't know about us, Jay. They really, every time I read Inman still doesn't know about us. I mean, read all of Brad's stuff. He's still comparing us to KW. Well, we're not KW. We don't have franchises. We don't have owners. We don't have team leaders. We don't have regional directors. You know the way I show it to people? It's liberating to get rid of everything, right? Because in every franchise, there's the international company, right? International. Then international, they have regions. And the regions sell what? Franchises to the owners. By the way, I was a regional director. I was an owner, and the owners hire team leaders, and the team leaders hire a staff. And where are you guys? You guys are at the bottom. And well, you know what? You know, when I knew him, I went, you know what you did? You wiped out all this crap, and you put the agent up here. And I do a circle instead of a square. Just so you know, this stuff works. If you've never, I know how to present one-on-one with someone with a napkin. Get all the books on it. The squares aren't good. You don't want to be in a box, right? The circle means you escaped. But I tell people, you go right, and we wiped out all this. Brad Inman doesn't even understand that we wiped out all this. He still thinks we're running the same game. We had 15,000 agents with no bricks and mortar. Dude, ask Dave Liniger if that's a good thing. Ask Gary Keller if he'd love to have 15,000 agents with no bricks and mortar, no phone systems, no copiers, no desks, no nothing. And guess what they would say? Where's that model? It's with eXp. Isn't it awesome being on the good end? Here's the thing. I need a napkin or a Kleenex. I get a little runny nose. I'm not afraid to be normal. Oh, look at this. This is a guy. He just gives me napkins. I love guys. You know, there's like, hey, you know, here's my towel. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Okay, here's what I want to teach you today. I don't want you to walk out of this room today and not know that it's doable for everybody. That's the main thing I want you to take away from today. And Brent said it so well. He's so passionate about it, he doesn't understand why everybody's not doing it. Right? Thank you very much. Okay. So I know it's habits, and I might write a book here recently with my buddy, my new buddy, because I've been attracting people for 30 years. It is my gift, but it's also a skill set. It's not a gift that the Lord gave me. I had to do it really bad for a while to understand. So here's what I start off with. You guys are used to selling homes, right? So you work with buyers and work with sellers. Agents have a gate of change. You can read the Covey book, and there's a gate of change. And Covey says there's a gate of change in everybody. And no amount of persuasion, great talks, great presentations, great webinars can get to the gate of change. How can the gate of change be opened? From where? The inside. I had this quote up on my desk from 1999 to about 2003 when I was a team leader at KW, because I went, man, I love Al. Al's one of my best buddies. He's my golfing buddy. And I would go, you need to, and then he would go, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Gates what? Shut. I go to the next person. I do not really talk about eXp until I know what? The gate's open. I'm serious. Now you're going to think, wait, Gene, I can get through that gate. I'm the best salesman on earth. Got news for you. Get over it. I still have some of my best friends at KW that are not here. They're not here. They're our best friends. We vacationed with them. When I talk to them, guys, I can analyze if the gate's open or not really quick. I've been doing this a long time. When the gate's shut, I go, you know what? I love you. I'll call you back later. And I text them about every quarter or every month, depending on how I do it. Now, does everybody have any questions on the gate of change?
What's the best question to open the gate of change?
Here's the thing. For the gate of change to be open, number one, it can only be open from where? It's hard to understand. There is no question. There is no question. I could tell you stories and stories and stories of people. They go, Gene, I am so glad, especially when I was at KW. They would call me back and go, Gene, you didn't talk to me for 4 years. I'm ready to talk now. I'd go into the office on Saturday morning and say, how long do you want? If the gate is shut, quit trying to kick it down. It won't happen. Rob Flick and I talk about it all the time, and Rob's one of the best recruiters I know too. He goes, Gene, I don't do a lot of follow-up. Do you? And I said, no, I don't either. And people go, what do you mean? How do you follow up? I said, well, if their gate's shut, I wait until the gate's open. I wait until they call me. And you go, well, how do you know you're going to call you? Well, I text them every now and then and say, here's the best text on earth. Eric, just thinking about you. How you doing? Write it down. It's the best text on earth. I get these from my brother, a couple of brothers. You know, Samantha, I was just thinking about you. How you doing? I was just thinking about you? Are you kidding? You were thinking about me? It's the best text I've ever gotten in my life. One brother does it to me all the time. Man, it just makes my soul feel good. Gene, I was just thinking about you today. Yeah, Andrew. Well, you know, you get an innate instinct on that. I don't really know if, a lot of times it's like an open house, right? Like you're doing, I used to love open houses like Brent did. And people would come in and I'd go, well, how's it going? They go, I got a realtor, right? The first thing they say is, I got a realtor. And what they're doing is they're just giving you a false whatever. So you'll hear a lot of those. Just go right past them. Does that make sense? Yeah. If you hear those false, you know they're just brushing me off. Right? Yeah, go ahead. Call them back the next week and then say, hey, it must have been a bad day, but, let's look at that video together. I really care about you. I mean, I'm not saying don't follow up, but I think I've been doing this for so long, it's the blink. I've just been doing it for so long that when I hear the same things over and over again, right? I've done presentations to people 4 times about eXp, one-on-one, and the first 3 times their gate wasn't open, right?
Check this out. So I did exactly what you said this morning at 10:24 a.m. We set the call up for Thursday.
Oh, wow. So it works.
It worked. It worked.
It's not hard. So you guys are thinking, what do I need to say? Everybody always thinks I have great scripts. Here's my best script on the phone. Brent gave you his. Here's mine. Write it down. Hello. You guys take it from there. You guys are better salespeople than anybody. You didn't get in this position without knowing what to say after hello. The problem is you don't say hello. Now, let's go back to my story. 2 Keller Williams agents introduced me to eXp. Nobody from eXp called me. A lot of people knew me. David Gagnon knew me. A lot of people, nobody called me. Said, Gene, how's it going in retirement? Not one person. Think of that. Get over it. Call everybody. Get over it. Call everybody. Everybody goes, who should we call? The top agents, the bottom agents, the middle? I said, how about everybody? Do you guys know what the percentage is at NAR that make over $100,000 a year? This will freak you out. Who can get close? This is like Price is Right. I got another $10. So what percentage of NAR, 1.3 million, what percentage is a percentage make over $100,000 a year? 2? No. It's over 10. Keep going.
20%.
It's over 20. The best number on earth. What's the best number on earth? 24. Willie Mays. Willie Mays, baby. Come on. Willie Mays, man. The best number on earth is Willie Mays. Come on, man. 24. Dudes, come on. So 24% of NAR makes more than over $100,000 a year. There's your hit list. There you go. Go for it. Because they'll all be cappers with us, right? You cap at 80,000. So, okay. Brent did a lot of things I was going to do, but the number one thing you should do is have a game plan. I want you to write this down. Have a game plan, how you're going to get a list of agents. In other words, lead generation is the key to anything in real estate, right? Well, lead generation is the key to attracting agents. I can give you 2 million ways to lead generate. The bottom line is make your plan up. Some people say, well, I'm going to go to Craig Proctor. I'm going to go to Mike Ferry, and I'm just going to go to those events, and I'm going to meet people. Game plan, right? I'm going to go to NAR. I'm going to get a list of, you guys have sold tons of homes. I've sold 3,000. If I sold as many homes as you are, I would just get my list of people I sold homes to the last 10 years. That'd be my hit list. Because they know who I am. And I'd call every single one of them. And do the Brent Gove script. I want you to punch holes in this. This is craziness. I'm thinking of leaving Coldwell Banker. Be vulnerable, right? There's so many ways to get agents. I laugh because you guys have never been in the game before, right? You've never thought about it. Anybody have any good advices on how to get agents? What's working? Tell me what's working. You guys tell me. Relationships. What else? How are you going to get agents? Co-broke with. That's what I'm saying. Every single one of them. By the way, do not talk about it while you're co-brokering with them. I just bought a home in Breckenridge. I'll tell you a story real quick. RE/MAX agent. About halfway through the process, she goes, who are you people? She didn't know who we were. We were just agents. One agent blew us off because we were real estate agents. We bought a $1.7 million home in Breckenridge, the number one VRBO at all of Breckenridge. Makes $160,000 a year in income. So anyway, halfway through my loan app, she goes, who are you guys? And I go, oh, we're with the first national company with no bricks and mortar and ownership for the agents and a retirement plan. She goes, I'd like to talk to you about that. I said, no. This is like the middle of August. I said, we're coming out in September. Let's meet then. I put her off. Now, most of you guys would do what? Oh, she asked me. She asked me. Wrong. Met her for dinner. We're out there. By the way, we bought the home. We sight unseen. 1.7 million. We didn't even see the home. But she videoed. I saw pictures. But what's great, it's prettier than you ever saw in the pictures. I mean, our realtor was awesome. So meet her and her husband for dinner. First night we're in town. 3-hour dinner. At the end, she goes, well, you didn't mention eXp. And I said, well, you didn't ask me. I said, let's set up a meeting 4 days from now. Put her off again. Said, but before I meet, I want you to look at these 2 videos before we meet. And that's when I gave her yours, Brent, and mine. She met me on Tuesday, asked all the questions. The next week, we were doing Austin. The next week, I invited her to an event. She comes to Austin. Guess who she is? The #1 RE/MAX agent in all of Breckenridge. Individual. Individual, by the way, no team. By herself, she does $28 million a year. Do you think she's in or not? She's in, baby. What I'm saying is, take your time. Write that down. Take your time. Don't force it. Attracting agents is different than selling homes. Remember, I want you to keep going back to that. I want you to drill down because you guys are thinking, oh, I can do this just like I sell homes. No. Nope. Takes a little longer. Takes a little finesse. I'm just telling you it does. You can't barge that doggone gate down and go, right? It does not work. I've been doing this for 30 years, attracting agents. #1 in the nation. I set a record at KW that they haven't, I've been gone for 4 years, but 366 agents in 1 year, 1 office, one location. That's 1 every single day and 2 on Christmas for baby Jesus. It's kind of like you're Ricky Bobby, you know. But 366, never been broken. Why? Because I focused on what was right. And I was, guys, you didn't want to meet me in 1989 when I was recruiting for realty executives. Oh, God, was I bad. You want to meet me now when I'm at the, when I'm Michael Jordan, when I'm Tiger Woods. Seriously. This is Tiger, no, well, Tiger won, didn't he? I am Tiger Woods again. I wasn't Tiger Woods for a while. I went, oops. Here's the questions I ask. And I did this the other dinner on this. This is the first question you should ask everybody. Call it TMAY, T-M-A-Y. It's an acronym. You'll never forget it, T-M-A-Y. TMAY, tell me about yourself. And I'm doing this for my wife because she had me change this. The next acronym is BQ, be quiet. I used to say SU, which is shut up, but people don't understand what I do. They said, what do you say? And I said, tell me about yourself. I interviewed the #1 agent in the United States on the phone the other day, literally, supposedly. I don't know. Everybody's always #1. Probably #1's in this room, and they don't, you know. You go, well, wait, I'm #1. But, by the way, this person 5 years in a row. And the first thing, and I had his bio. Sit, you know, because the agent that had to do a 3-way call said, here's the bio so you know all about him. And the first thing I said on the phone was, tell me about yourself. Do you think he talked? Yes, for about 6 minutes. And people can go for hours. Okay? You need to get off of the fact that it's about you. It's the biggest problem you have. See, selling homes, it's about you. Well, let me show you how I can market your home. Let me show you how I can. Let me tell you, my marketing department's the best because you're always pushing who? When attracting agents, it's all about who? Them. It's hard. It's hard because you're a salesperson. You're going, wait, man, I'm good. I can't wait to use that script. No, there aren't any scripts. Let them talk and be quiet. I do it on the phone. Every person I met here, if I've met you through the years, I've said that to you. You just did not know it. If I spent any time with you, I went, tell me about yourself. It's beautiful. Let me give you a story. And here's the key to it. See, I'm trying to change habits. Because here's the habit you guys are doing now. You're doing a co-op Tony, and they call you and they go, hey, what's about eXp about? And you, oh, I can't tell you what. And you spew eXp. Do you not? Right, Andrew? Boom. You talk too much. You admitted to me the other night. You go, I just go, well, they asked me. I said, no, they didn't ask you. They really didn't ask you. You just ruined the whole thing. And that's why he and I know the best thing to do is not say anything. Tell me about eXp. Oh my gosh, it's 90% visual. I would love to. Let's set up a time to look at that video or invite them to a lunch and learn or invite them to an event. But the minute you start spewing eXp, it's not about them anymore. Right? Correct? Have you guys ever bought a car and the car salesman, you walk in and the car salesman says, oh, and he doesn't even ask you what you're looking for? You guys have had those experiences. You go in to buy furniture and the person goes, oh, let me show you the best furniture. Well, I wasn't even looking at couches. I was looking for beds. I mean, come on, guys. You guys talk like demons. I'm trying to change habits because a lot of people go, I've been trying to recruit Gene for 6 months. What's working? And I said, well, let me go with you one time on an interview. And I go, and they never shut up. Let me give you Susan's not here, but my wife, beautiful Susan, when you meet her, the minute you meet Susan, you forget who I am. You just, who was that guy with Susan? Because once you meet Susan, it's all over. It's like, I think his name was Gene. I can't remember. Might have been Raphael. No, I liked Raphael. I love that name. So anyway, in 2006, I was at Augusta. You were at Augusta? I was at Augusta when I found out my wife had breast cancer. That was the worst Augusta trick I ever had. And so I come back. We go through all the stuff. She goes through surgery. And true story, it was great. When I says great, by the way, it's been 12 years, so she no longer has cancer. Do you understand? That's a round of applause, right? Woo! 12 years, baby. So I've told this story forever. So I'm sitting there, and it was awesome because she was, if you know Susan, she's an action person, you know. Okay, I got breast cancer. How about next Tuesday? Literally, boom. Let's do the surgery. It's over. Shaves her head, starts having chemo, and she had a blonde wig. It was awesome. I was married to a blonde for like 6 months. It was awesome. So she had a blonde wig on. It was kind of cool. And she was sitting right down next to me, and I got to envision this. This is the desk. And I was sitting there, and I was interviewing for Keller Williams. I was a team leader. And a guy walks in, sits down right there. I sit down there. Susan's right here. She's looking at a deal, the beautiful blonde wig. And I said, tell me about yourself. And he goes, well, it's real simple. My wife's got breast cancer. We're going through chemo right now. He talks for 45 minutes. I literally don't say a word. Sign him up. He leaves. Susan looks at me. I look back at her, and she goes, you never mentioned me. And I said, honey, it's not about us. Does that sink in? Every sales book that tells you to do this, oh, your kid plays soccer and my kid plays soccer and you've played hockey and I played hockey, they're wrong. It's all about what they do. Does that make sense? And Susan had never sat in an interview with me, and she looks at me and goes, you're good. And I said, honey, I've been doing this for a long time. And I figured out, they leave, they don't even know my story. They leave, they don't even know I have 5 kids and 5 grandkids. They leave, they just leave, and they go, he liked me. That's what it's all about if you want to be a good attractor. And when we write the book, Michael, we'll make sure they understand this. It's different. Does that make sense? Because I'm the only one that's attracted at such a high level that a lot of people go into these things and, oh, let me tell you what I say and what my script is. And I go, my script is, tell me about yourself. You're kidding. And I know more about them when they leave because I ask them about their business. Here's the questions I ask them about their business. Just so you know this. When are you going to retire? I ask that every time. Because you know what you're going to get? Here's the response. I'm just telling you, if I asked Javier right now, when are you going to retire? 5 or 10 years. Raphael, when are you going to retire? 5 or 10 years. Michael, 5 or 10 years. I've heard it so many times, it will be the response. Oh, 5 or 10 years. And then I meet him 5 years later, and I go, when are you going to retire? 5 or 10 years. 5 or 10 years. And I've been in the business 35 years. Okay? And then I ask him about I say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being awesome, how's your business? The bigger the producer they are, the lower the number it is. 1 to 10, 10 being awesome. I've never had somebody number 1 in their company ever say a 10, ever say a 9. They always say 8s and 7s. I said, if it's an 8, what would make it a 10? And then you got to answer that. You follow up. What would make it a 10? And they tell you what's wrong with their business. That's called needs analysis. Here's the key to attracting. You cannot talk about eXp until you get the needs analysis. Write it down. This is the biggest key to anything. You just can't start talking about eXp until you do what? Find out what's wrong with them. Let me give you an example. Where's Veronica? Veronica, I got an agent called me and she goes, I want you to Veronica's a really good producer in our area in Austin, and I had never met her, and she goes, I think I can get you an interview right after her workout at 7:30 in the morning at Starbucks. So she's in the leotard thing, and she walks in. I said, Veronica, tell me about yourself. She starts talking. I said, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, blah, blah, blah. She goes, well, it's an 8. I said, what would make it a 10? She goes, well, I've always done $15 million a year the last 3 years. I want to do $20 million. So I said, if I can show you how to go to $20 million, you would consider joining eXp? And she goes, yes. She gets up and she leaves and she joins. She was the Realtor of the Year the next year for Austin, eXp. But Veronica said to me, the agent that was sitting there, watching me do the interview, it was a 45-minute interview. She goes, when she left, I said, what'd you learn from that? She goes, well, I learned you didn't even talk about rev share. I learned you didn't even talk about the stock. I said, it wasn't her need. Her need was production. Just so you know, a lot of people are going to come to you and go, I want to do more production. So guess what I did, Brent, the whole time? I talked about production. I coached her on production. Guess what she did 4 months after joining us? Gene, I want to do that attraction thing now. Can you teach me that? Cool. It's their need, not yours. It's their need, not yours. Everybody got some good ahas today so far? Are you guys, you know what? I'm pretty damn good at this. No, I'm just kidding. Brent's so good. When I watch Brent speak, I just laugh so hard. I don't know how you guys wrote stuff down. Okay. And I did make notes, which is really good. Okay. Okay. Number 3. Here's the key to it. The key to success is what? Great habits. And so agents ask me all the time, well, I've never been in the attraction game. I said, I know you've been in the working with buyers, working with sellers. So now you're going to learn different skill set, but here's the key. Talk to 2 agents a day. Write it down. To me, talking to 2 agents a day, see, habits got to be done regularly, right? And I like Brent when he says, I took Friday afternoon and called people, but I guarantee you he did more than that because he followed up on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So and when I teach this, I said, so let's take 52 weeks. We're going to do 5-day weeks because you take 2 days off every week. Get used to it. Put it in your calendar. If you guys that work all the time are crazy. So if you take 52 weeks minus 12 vacations, 12-week vacations a year, is the way I run my life. By the way, just for all you guys that know how to do forecasting, they asked me this morning, what's 2019 look like? I said, I don't know. All I've done is put in my vacations. Right? Is that what you guys do? Put your vacations in first. 12 weeks. 12 weeks. 12 weeks. So now we're down to 40 work weeks. That's it. 5 days times 40 is what? For all you bean counters. There's not one in here. 5 times, 5, so 5 times 40 is 200. Is that right? Well, that's not the number anyway. It's 2 a day. So 2 a day times 5 days is 10. And 10 times 400, right? Let me do this on the board. I'm getting all mixed up. It's 400 agents. Let me do it for you. So you call 2 a day, and there's 5 days, right? That's 10 in a week. And we're going to work 40 weeks. So you're going to talk to 400 people about eXp. That's why 2 a day works for me. And I'm taking 12 weeks off. And people go, well, how could I talk to 400? I said, talk to 2 a day for, just 40 weeks. How many could you guys close? What do you think the percentage is going to be? 3%? 10? I think 10's pretty easy. 10%, I think so too. I would tell you this, 10% because we're hot. We're hot. This isn't a couple years ago when Brent came out of the hiding and went, right? Is it not easier now? Yeah. Jay, is it not easier now than it was a year ago? A lot easier. When you get to 15,000 agents, by the way, we're the number 3. We're the 3rd largest company in America underneath one broker, behind NRT and Home Services. Then there's us. Ow! I got news for you, baby. We're coming. Right? So when you're the 3rd largest, they know about you. So I think 10%'s easy in a year. And I think 20%'s doable. So you're going to attract 40 to 80. And he did how many in a year, Brent? Your first year?
I did 40 and 8 months. I don't remember the first year.
40 and 8 months. But what's happening is since we're getting better and better and better, the percentages are getting better. So a lot of you guys go, I don't know if I could attract, 80 people, 2 a day. I keep it simple. I'm like Brent. I just break it down. To do big things, you do small things. That's good. Right? You actually keep it simple. How much more time do I have to snot up here? No, I'm just kidding. How much time do I have? 5 minutes. I'm pretty good, aren't I? I got my I got my clothes already. Okay. And I'm gonna touch on something that Brent said. John Wooden, read the books. Read the books. You got to understand, in basketball, in the 1940s, John Wooden won a national championship as a player, Purdue. He's one of the only people that's in the Hall of Fame as a player and as a coach. So he won Purdue. Now, in the 30s and 40s, who was the powerhouse? It wasn't the Big East. It wasn't the Pac-10. Guess who it was? It was the Big Ten. Basketball country was Indiana, Minnesota, that Midwest, because it's cold up there, and you guys don't have anything to do. But basketball was king. That was where you wanted to coach. So he started out coaching in high school. There are a couple. They coached at Indiana State. And his dream to be a coach, you got to understand, as a kid, he played professional basketball for a little bit too. He gets out and he goes, if I could coach one of those, I think it was only 8 schools at that time, University of Illinois, Minnesota. Guess what? He gets the call in 1946. University of Minnesota. Oh, dream job. Dream job for a coach. I'm just telling you, it isn't now, right? But back then, this is like going to Alabama in football right now. Them calling you and saying you're going to be the coach. He goes, guess who else calls? UCLA. It's a true story. You ought to read this. It'll bring tears to your eyes. And he goes, well, where's UCLA? It's in Los Angeles. It's the pits. It's not basketball country. They don't even have a gym. They don't have a gym. UCLA uses a junior college gym outside of UCLA. They don't have a basketball. They don't have facilities. They don't have anything. They go, but we've seen you coach. We'd like to have you. So he interviews with both schools. Guess what happens? He finally tells his wife, I'm going to make a decision. And he calls them both. And he tells UCLA, just so you know, Minnesota is where I want to go. I mean, he just lays it out on the table. You know, this is my dream job. But if they don't want me, I'll come to you. And they said, cool. Minnesota's supposed to call him. This is the day of judgment. They said, we're meeting with the regents. We're going to give you the, it was like 4 in the afternoon. We'll call you by 4. So he's waiting by the phone. You guys got to understand, this phone used to be attached. Do you remember when the phone was attached? And he's looking at the phone, and he's waiting for it to ring. 2 o'clock comes, no call. 3 o'clock call comes, no call. 4 o'clock comes, no call. 4:15, guess who calls? UCLA. UCLA goes, did they call? Are you taking university? He goes, I guess they didn't want me. I'll coach with you. 5 o'clock, the phone rings. It's University of Minnesota. And University of Minnesota says, our phones were out all day. We couldn't call you. We're so sorry, but we want you now. And he says, I've already committed. It was 45 minutes. He says, I'm sorry, I've already committed to UCLA. His dad taught him honesty, integrity. Your word means everything. Okay? Brent's stories about people calling him and saying, hey, I want you to be my sponsor, but somebody else. I care not, man. I care about the 12 people that you saved. Right? John Wooden went to UCLA. He literally spent years. They didn't even have a gym. 46 to 64. 18 years he coached there without a championship. And then 64, he won a championship. He won 10 out of 12 years. You know what the team he said was the best team he ever coached was the team in 1959 when they were 13 and 12. Because he says the last game of the season we were 12 and 12. And if we win, we have a winning season. Those kids got the most out of their talent than any team I've ever had. They were my favorite team. The 59 team that went 13 and 12. Okay? Integrity means so much. It's everything in life. They're not going to remember how many homes you sold or how many people you recruit when you're gone. They're just going to remember who you are. John Wooden turned down his, I mean, I couldn't believe it when I read that. He goes, no, my dad always taught me. So who's the hero? John Wooden's what? Dad. I wonder who taught John Wooden's dad that. That you know what? Your word is your honor. Right? You don't have to, you know, I come from the era, man. You shake my hand, we're done. Right? We don't have to write things out in pieces of paper. You know, let's go back to that world. Everybody's wanted to treat us something different. So I want to ask one thing and recap. What'd you get out of today?
Best intro script ever, teammate SU. I like the SU better.
You like to shut up better? You're from the Northeast?
Yes.
See, the Northeasterns like to shut up. My wife likes to be quiet because when I go to Boston, I put a little other acronyms in there. No, I'm just kidding. What else? Isn't that good, though? Thank you for... Habits. Take your time, please. I've had a couple agents just join us that I worked on for 3 years. 3.5 years. When the gates open, guess what happens? Then they come talk to us. Don't force it. What else? 2 agents a day. Thank you. Thank you. Julie's. Little things. Concentrate on little things, you get big things.
12 vacations.
12 vacations, please. Seriously, if you don't do it, if you don't do that, I'm telling you, my life changed when I put the vacations in first. I put the vacations in first. I put all the kids' activities first. I put all my church activities first. Then life happens. If you guys do that, who had one over here? Text. That beautiful. Thank you. Text. By the way, texting is the way we communicate, right? By the way, there's nothing wrong with calling them. They just won't listen to the voicemail. Right? Because you guys call me, I don't listen to the voicemail. I just call you back and go, what's going on, man? You know what? I don't know about you guys, but I think it's been a special day. I've been a special day. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Awesome.